Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? It is Friday, June 24th, 2016. The U.S. equity markets just closed, and I want to welcome you to my newest project I'm adding to my Business Day Market Report, and that is this. I'm calling it the Week in Review with a Look Ahead. I'm really excited about this. I want to talk about things that I believe are very important. And what a week this has been. And let's start at the beginning. Last Sunday, the futures markets were acting in a very, I called it supernatural. Uh, but the truth of the matter is, it was a very unusual fashion. For some reason, we saw the overnight futures spike across the board. And again, there was no real reason for that. So I'm going, what's going on? So I'm looking everywhere, trying to find a reason for it. Couldn't find one. The next day, we had this rally that, again, was very peculiar to me. I put forth the prospect that world central banks are using dark pools to help prop up the market. For those of you that are not familiar with dark pools are, these are private exchanges mostly used by institutional investors to hide what they're doing. Now, we understand world central banks have said, specifically Mario Draghi has said over and over again that he will do anything and everything to keep things propped up. So what do we know is going on here, people? Again, you know this. We got world central banks admittedly printing cash out of thin air, adding them to digital screens, actually, and buying debt with it, government debt. Now the ECB, under Mario Draghi, has decided to buy corporate debt too. And it just plays into how are they not using these dark pools to, again, prop up the stock market? Of course they're doing this. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that is occurring at this time. What else did I talk about which plays right into this? I said in my next video segment, this was on Tuesday, that world central banks are buying everything. I asked all of you, why do you think that is happening? Why are world central banks buying it all? Not only are they buying, again, government debt, they're buying corporate debt. They are, without a doubt, using dark pools to buy stock, to prop up this market. They're buying gold. They're buying precious metals. So it raises the question, why? Why are they doing this? I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments with regard to that. I have said, I believe that world central banks understand where we are moving as we're unfortunately in this paradigm here of control by, again, the political elites and the world central banks. And maybe this is unraveling now with the Brexit, which I'll talk about in just a minute. But again, I think, in fact, I know the evidence is everywhere that we're moving toward a two-tier society. And the world central banks want to own everything so they can dictate to us, the serfs, what they're going to allow us to have and how they can continue to run everything. I think I think that's very frightening, honestly. I really do. All right, let's move forward here. I also spoke about this week about the insolvency of the entire system. Look, it should be no secret to you, if you follow this blogger or have one, maybe two functioning brain cells, that the system itself is insolvent and it's toxic. And I don't care what kind of stress tests the Federal Reserve wants to force down our throats to prove to us that the banking system is solvent. It is not solvent. And the perspective I put on this was pretty straightforward. I had urged all of you to go to the Federal Reserve's website, federalreserve.gov. go to their search and simply look up the amount of currency in circulation. That number is $1.4 trillion. That's it. That is all the cash printed that exists on the earth. Meanwhile, you and me and everyone else who keeps their cash in these commercial banks apparently have 11 trillion in those deposits. How can that possibly be? Understand, it's not real. Nothing is real. The debt is not real. Everything is not real. It's all hinged upon credit and debt, which keeps getting larger and larger and larger. It can never stop. It's the nature of the system. It needs to borrow cash into existence in perpetuity. It can never stop. Okay. Moving forward here, I talked about this Brexit thing. Again, this took me by surprise big time. I had believed sincerely that the political elite and the central bank agendas, both of them colluding with each other, would not allow this to happen in any way, shape, or form. I talked about hypotheticals with regard to how a Brexit would affect the markets, and it played out exactly to the letter, like I said it would, in the event that we got a Brexit. Well, guess what? We got a Brexit, and I want to give one more shout out to the people of the UK, and congratulations for this. It changed my perspective in many ways. It proved to me that we can do something. We can do this, and we do not have to have our lives, and existence dictated by the political elites and world central banks. Is there going to be some pain? Absolutely. That brings me to today. Right now, we understand what did happen. The Brexit did come through. World markets got destroyed. The stock markets did. Meanwhile, precious metals did phenomenal in this environment. We did see this major move into the safe haven of debt, not a safe haven. And there again is what scares me the most. We're going to face a moment here where the debt bubble bursts, people. You know that if you follow this blog, and that's going to be what we just saw today. We're going to laugh at it. This was nothing. Now let's talk about market reaction, so we can have a little bit of a look ahead here into next week. A lot of this today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished down over 600 points today, and world markets took a wallop. So, to me, I'm not certain that we're done seeing this selling pressure, but a lot of this is that initial knee jerk. The market always overreacts to information, either to the upside or to the downside. I think it's very possible that we could make up some of these losses here in equities moving into next week. We'll see how this plays out. Again, we have to understand what is underlying all of this. World central banks right now are thinking of every way possible that they can reinflate this. They've worked very hard to, again, create a bubble in debt, which is the greatest threat to humankind, period. I've gone over that. Global debt and the human bubble. Look it up. Google that. They've inflated the stock market bubble. They've created distortions in this market, which are of magnitudes that are hard to understand, truly. So they're going to try, and I think they're going to be successful, to reinflate this again, using whatever mechanism possible. In the words of Mario Draghi, do everything that they can and will, and things that we haven't even thought of yet, to prop this up. So we'll see how this plays out into next week. It's going to be interesting. I'll talk about it at that time here. But again, I believe it's very possible that we could see these losses cut in half with regard to these equity markets, and there may be some opportunity there, and we'll talk about it moving forward. Actually, at the end of next week, well, I'll see you in my second segment of this new um, market report segment, a week in review with a look ahead. With that said, people, I will see you all soon, and thank you for your support, honestly.